on the go-karts, or was it too much of a line-up? Just,
too much zero alcohol tolerance.
Yeah, those rules were pretty strict. But anyway, bit of a session overview. As I said, my name is Ryan England, been the ICT manager at the Barossa Council for just over 3 years. The Barossa Council is a local council situated just over an hour north of Adelaide. Got 145 employees, and we've got three employees in the ICT team. What this session is, I'm going to give you an overview of a case study of a recent server virtualisation consolidation project and highlight the benefits that we achieved from this server virtualisation. Important thing, what this session's not, it's not an in-depth technical presentation of Hyper-V. I'm not a technical guru, so I apologise if you think you're going to learn about clustering and everything like that. Sorry, this is like an overview of an experience that we achieved from doing server virtualisation. Three main takeaways of this session are: I'm going to give you an overview of the status of the business and why we decided to implement Microsoft Hyper-V server virtualisation as part of our server refresh, how we undertook the process to introduce this into our environment with the minimum impact to the business, and also the most important thing, the benefits, what we as a business has achieved. Alrighty, let's get started. My life, this is what it was like before. Wouldn't we all like to be doing that instead? Stressed. Wouldn't we all rather be having a bit more time, nice, relaxed? Does this look familiar to anybody? Wouldn't we much rather have a lot of time on our hands so we could all have a patch panel looking like that? All right, we're going to have a bit of an overview of the agenda here. So our problems, overview of the previous environment and the major problems that we're facing. Going to go on to the solution, an overview of the solution and what we decided to implement. Then we're going to cover the implementation plan, how we implemented the solution into our business to ensure there was no impact to the business. The benefits, as I highlighted earlier, benefits is one of the major things. When you embark on a project, you're going to want benefits. We're able to achieve some really good benefits from this. Another thing is the lessons learned. What we as a business learned from doing this server virtualisation project. And maybe some of the things that we would have done differently if we had our time again. Then we'll go on to the next steps. What the Barossa Council is looking to do next now that we've got a server virtualisation strategy in place. And then we're going to have some questions and answers. All right, overview of our problems. Server infrastructure age. Currently we released all of our server hardware. We had a large number of our servers had a mixed lease renewal date. So coming into this project, we had a number of core servers which were coming out of lease. So we had to do something, and that's where we decided to look at server virtualisation. Complex server management. We didn't have a management solution. There was various operating systems versions, cumbersome backup software, physical space limitations. We had a relatively small server room. A number of you would have experienced this before. Small server room, you just can't fit everything into it. As I said, existing server room was nearing capacity. The power consumption. Power consumption is a big thing these days, green IT and everything. That was something that our business, as a small to medium business, we were conscious on ways we could save money. Physical space limitations, as I mentioned, excessive power consumption, lack of high availability. This is a crucial thing. As organisations now demand uptime near as possible to 100%, this is something that me as an IT manager, in our previous environment, we were struggling to be able to guarantee that. And no replication to our DR site. We didn't have an automatic replication strategy to our DR site. Failover to our DR would have meant me a large chunk of work to get our site up and running in our DR environment. Whoops. All right, we'll just go back. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to play a video. This is a video of a large retail enterprise organisation. The reason why I'm showing this is they too had the very similar problems that we were facing, and they were able to address those problems by implementing a Hyper-V solution in their business. So if you watch this video, look out for the key takeouts that, as I mentioned, some of the problems that they experienced, and they were able to address those problems and also deliver a large number of business benefits. So let's watch this video.
Target differentiates itself based on having a high-quality guest shopping experience inside of our stores. That depends on having product on the shelves and a speedy checkout. The business applications that enable those processes for our guests run on Microsoft Hyper-V.
With over 1,750 stores and no IT personnel in our stores whatsoever, it becomes really important to be able to manage these environments remotely. Microsoft's let us do that by letting us leverage what we call a super stack, which starts with the hypervisor layer, includes the operating system, and all of the management tools that layer on top of that. And so Microsoft, for us in our stores, has provided Target with a very comprehensive solution, not just to run, but to manage those environments.
Like most retailers, we run a distributed compute model, meaning that we have servers basically located in all of our stores, and those servers are absolutely critical to running our point-of-sale applications, our security applications, our replenishment applications, and our pharmacy applications. If those servers are not up and running, those applications are degraded, and the guest experience in the store is degraded as well.
One of the mission-critical applications that we virtualize in our stores is Microsoft SQL Server. We currently run 2008 SP1 in all of our stores, and it's imperative to being able to operate a store. It helps our team members receive merchandise from the trailers, put it on the shelves, stock it in the back room.
Target's virtualization strategy today is to use Hyper-V to reduce the physical footprint, the number of servers we have in our stores, from 7 down to 2. By removing servers from our control room, if you think about the sheer scale that we're dealing with, we're able to dramatically reduce our operating expense.
This is a 3-year project for Target. We're into year 2 now. We're doing over 1,000 stores this year, and we're going to finish up the stores next year, where we'll have over 1,700 stores, over 3,600 hosts running Hyper-V, with over 15,000 virtual machines.
If you think about our requirements as a retailer, it's really important for us to have total confidence that we can process transactions during the fourth quarter, during our holiday season, when transaction volumes go way, way up. And we found that Microsoft Hyper-V met all of our requirements and had no problem keeping up with the transaction volumes that we needed.
Microsoft and Dell helped Target develop a model that we would use over the next 5 years to determine what our growth looked like. We leveraged the Dell R710s in our stores because they provided us a hardware platform. We used Hyper-V because it provides a software and a virtualization platform that we could grow into.
We're able to collapse down from 7 physical servers that run those mission-critical store applications down into 2 physical machines. Running Microsoft Hyper-V reduces our operating expense by millions of dollars a year through power savings, break-fix maintenance savings, and avoided capital refresh.
I'm sure as you'd agree that there were some pretty impressive consolidation ratios there. The thing that I take out of that video is a large enterprise level organisation, they can do server virtualization using Hyper-V at an enterprise level, and they can do it and they can achieve those consolidation ratios. The thing is with Hyper-V, it's scalable down, it's an enterprise-ready solution as well as a small to medium solution. So I took a lot of heed from that video, and that was one of the main reasons why we decided to go with a Hyper-V solution. So our solution. Our hypervisor decision was decision after looking at the various virtualization technologies in the market was, as I mentioned, Hyper-V running on the server 2008 R2. An important consideration of our solution was high availability, as I mentioned. The high availability was addressed, we configured our solution running in a cluster. As I mentioned previously, we had no single management solution. We've implemented and now use System Center VMM to manage our environment. We also use that to P2V our existing physical servers. The replication, as I mentioned before, we didn't have an automatic replication to our DR site. We now use System Center DPM 2010 to replicate core services to our DR site. That gives me the peace of mind and confidence that I've got my DR site is ready to go in the event of a disaster. All right, hardware configuration. our hardware, we've gone four physical servers. They're dual processor quad core. Each of them's got 36 gig of memory, 2 by 146 gig SAS hard drives, and they're all IBM X3650 M3 servers. Our SAN is configured with 12 by 450 gig SAS drives and 6 by 600 gig SAS drives, giving us a total of just over 4 terabytes of storage. And our SAN is an IBM DS3400 with an additional tray. To connect all this together, we've gone with Cisco Fabric switching, full redundancy. That's where our clustered shared volume sits. We've also got our link, which is a wireless link off to our disaster recovery site, which is at our Tanunda depot branch, which is approximately 5 kilometres away. So that's our hardware solution that we went with. How many people have seen this? It's a pretty standard implementation project plan, project methodology from an IT perspective. Who's seen this? Hands up. Right. I'm going to interact. The man over here gets a wine glass. We're at the Barossa Council. We don't give promotional pens. We feel that the Barossa makes some pretty world-class wines, so we have wine glasses. So I've got a couple more wine glasses. And the man in the black shirt obviously is a keen wine drinker. So we've got wine glasses. We've got a couple more wine glasses to give out, so don't heckle me. Give me some support and I'll give you a wine glass. So so this is a pretty standard implementation plan. The key thing for us was the planning phase. In this planning phase, we're able to analyse our existing environment, do some capacity planning, do a virtualisation assessment, a storage analysis to find out exactly what we need, do a hardware design, do some application compatibility testing. This is crucial for us going from a physical environment to a virtual environment. We needed to have our software vendors on side with us. We needed to ensure that we got sign off from them that their software, our core business applications, were going to run in our solution. As I mentioned, liaising with software vendors. As I mentioned, the planning phase was a very detailed and major component of this project. However, the length of this section was compressed considerably as we engaged a virtualisation consultant from a solution integrator. The pilot and the production phases were quite quick because we'd been able to spend some considerable time planning our solution, ensuring that we had the confidence to move forward. All right, let's hit some benefits. And we'll go back. Like many in the room, I'm responsible for IT spend in our organisation. This project needed to address the problems that previously highlighted, as well as convince key stakeholders in the business that server virtualisation was the way to go. Here are 6 main benefits that we were able to see and be able to see from our virtualisation project. Power. Significant reduction in our annual power bills. This was actually identified by a business accountant who noticed a downward trend in our power bills. The reduction was then factored into annual budgeting, which in turn is obviously good for the business. Another example of power saving, we're able to drastically decrease the air conditioning requirements in our server room due to the server consolidation that we were able to do. No additional dollars. That's a big thing for small, especially small councils. We didn't have to spend any additional dollars on licensing. We discussed our proposed solution with our LAR, who then advised the business there was no additional licenses required as we decided on a virtualisation strategy, which was included in the operating system licenses. We opted, for our 4 host servers, we opted to use 2008 R2 Data Center Edition, which allows you to have unlimited virtual machines running on each host. Centralised management. As mentioned before, we now have a single pane of glass management solution to manage our environment. System Center Virtual Machine Manager allows us to do that. And it's severely, having a small IT department, it allows me to get the most out of my IT staff. Consolidation. We're able to achieve our goal consolidation. We were able to consolidate down from 18 physical services to 4 servers, plus 2 additional physical servers which we use for a backup server and a physical domain controller. So we were able to achieve some pretty impressive consolidation ratios there. Physical space. The layout of the server room has drastically been improved following this project. As a local government organisation, there's a significant focus on occ health and safety and risk awareness. Senior management has now notified, following our project, there's been a number of previously identified potential issues that have now been addressed with the improved layout of our server room. Replication to a DR site, for me, this is my favourite one. This is the biggest benefit for me. If you've got a DR site, there's no point having a DR site if you can't have confidence in the replication to it. We've now got the confidence that our core services are replicated, automated to our DR site using System Center DPM 2010. All right, we're just going to cover over some lessons learned. Document. I know I'm not telling you how to suck eggs, but this is something that really burnt us. You need to ensure you have a close technical relationship with key members of the project with a focus on documentation. A unique problem that we experienced was somehow the admin password for our Cisco Fabric fibre switches was misplaced. Caused us no end of grief, rework, money. It was a bad thing. This would have been avoided if we had a password register, some documentation that the project was going along. Other documents we found handy: IP register, virtual network configuration, server roles and responsibility. Because the project went for a number of months, we needed to have this documentation to ensure that we knew the state of play and where we were up to. Compatibility. This is another big one. Ensure the hardware and software compatibility is checked prior to the project commencement. I know it sounds like a pretty simple thing, but a specific experience that we experienced was the IBM X3650 M3 hardware was relatively new to the market. We went to use it. It wasn't yet on the hardware compatibility list of 2008 R2. There needed to be a number of patches applied to that hardware before, firmware patches before 2008 R2 would actually go onto that hardware. Yet again, it caused us rework, which in turn means money. Backups in a test environment. Ensure that the new VMs are promptly added to your nightly backup routine. Virtual servers can easily be omitted from a backup routine. You get them to work and you think, yep, that's all okay. That final step to ensure that they're being backed up. For us, that was a crucial thing. Establish a test environment as soon as possible. This allows you to easily test new versions of applications as well as patches. Planning. That word planning comes up again. As previously mentioned, the planning phase of this project was extremely important for the success of the overall success of the project. Although the phase was longer than originally planned, we were able to ensure the remaining phases went ahead without any issues. The success or failure of the overall success or failure of the project will be determined here. Try not to rush this phase. We were originally keen to try and rush and get in there and do that, but then we decided to take a step back and thought, no, we need to ensure that our strategy moving forward was robust and it was a correct solution. So this is what my life was. These are the cheesy slides. This is what my life was, and my life is now like this. Going for a nice walk. Who would much rather have that? Come on, I've got wine glasses. All right, there we go. Let's have a wine glass. So this now indicates that I've now got more time on my hands. I can do more things. That's not actually me. All right, next steps. Just like to highlight a couple of the upcoming projects that we're currently looking at implementing following the virtualisation project. We're going to implement a new physical host server to increase capacity and allow for future projects. So that's coming online. We've got the server hardware's just come in, and we're just going to be starting to add that to our cluster. We just upgraded to Server 2008 R2 Service Pack 1, so this is so we can take advantage of new features such as dynamic memory, which will drastically improve the memory configuration and memory utilisation in our virtual environment. System Center Configuration Manager 2007, and I'm not sure what it's doing up there, but it should be down there. Operations Manager 2007. We're now looking at implementing these products into our environment and these products will be implemented on a virtual server in our virtual cluster to improve the management of our environment. The new upcoming project is currently we're Windows XP and Office 2003. We're just in the planning phase at the moment to upgrade to Windows 7 and Office 2010. A large component of these projects will be done using Configuration Manager. So this is a pretty exciting project for us to embrace. Not new technologies, but for something as I mentioned, an IT department that's relatively small. We're confident that we can handle the rollout of Windows 7 and Office 2010 and really harness the benefits. We now use Exchange 2010, SharePoint 2010, so we'll be able to actually harness the back-end functionality using the Office 2010 client and Windows 7. All right. Summary. Why we did it. I've highlighted the problems that we experienced previously with our old environments. These included the server infrastructure, the age, released our hardware, the complex server management, the physical space limitations, the excessive power consumption, the lack of high availability, no replication to our DR sites. So these are all problems that we needed to address. What we did a virtualization platform running Hyper-V on a Windows Server 2008 R2 environment. We had a cluster running across 4 physical servers. We used System Center Virtual Machine Manager to do the physical to virtual conversion, as well as using it to manage and maintain our environment. And for the replication issue, we used System Center DPM 2010 to replicate to our DR site. How, as I mentioned, the implementation plan was planned pilot production with a key focus on planning. Obviously, the project needed to ensure that it addressed the problems that were previously identified, but it also had to show the business a number of benefits. The main benefits that the business identified were a decrease in power consumption, no additional licensing costs, and this was a big thing. I wasn't going to be able to go to my director and say, hey, I need X dollars for this hardware, but I also need some more dollars for software licensing. So that was a big thing for us. Also, centralised management, consolidation. We achieved really good consolidation ratios of 18 down to 4 in our physical space. Further information. If anybody wants any further information, you can jump onto the Microsoft case study website, search for under local government or search for the Barossa Council. There's actually a Microsoft case study that goes into a bit more detail about this. Got some figures about the power consumption which has been saved and stuff like that, so, percentages and stuff like that. Also, in a magazine called Government Technology Review, you can jump onto the website, which is govtechreview.com.au. They've actually written an article on there about the virtualisation project that we did. So that's actually quite a good read. Contacting me, there's my contact details if you want to contact me. If you've got any questions, or anything, you can give me a buzz. Questions. There must be some questions, and I hope I'm going to be able to answer them. So anybody got any questions? Yep.
Did you do any form of engineering study in terms of having a look at the various virtualization platforms and storage solutions?
Yeah, we
just go to Hyper-V?
No, we didn't just go to Hyper-V. It was definitely we engaged a third party to help us out, and a number of other organisations similar size to us have gone down and experienced this problem before. And I guess the main benefit from going with this solution was the no additional licensing dollars. And I guess from my budget was pretty tight already, and so we weighed up the decision, and I guess that was one of the main factors, the reasons why we went with the Hyper-V solution. And the Hyper-V solution has matured a lot. With version 2, there's a lot of those functions and features that have now moved it a lot closer to other competitors. So we were confident that we didn't need to spend the extra additional dollars, and we were confident that with the solution set that the Hyper-V solution provided us, we were confident that was going to do us well.
How long ago did you actually do this?
We did this project started probably 9 months ago. So yeah, it was something that, probably 9 months ago we started it. So Yeah.
Did it take quite a bit of work to convince your software vendors, your core application guys, to get them on board with going with the Hyper-V solution?
That's a really good question. We're really lucky. Our core business applications that we run, obviously, if we didn't get sign off from one of those vendors for support in a Hyper-V environment, we were going to be pretty much going to be a showstopper. The three main vendors that we deal with, there was some initial sort of resistance, but after some gentle persuasion and some discussion with them, we were able to get sign off on all of our application vendors, which, as I mentioned, would have been a stumbling block if we didn't get that sign off. So from our perspective, we don't have a large selection of applications, so obviously each organisation is going to be different, but we're able to get sign off from our application vendors for all of our applications, so that was a really good thing for us.
You said you purchased a data centre, and yet you seem to have, with only 36 gig of memory,
Yep.
the provision for not that many virtuals. Is this forward planning?
Yeah, definitely it is. And I mean, the difference between, we're on an open value agreement, and the difference between, I'm the licensing expert, so apologies if my figures are wrong. The difference between the standard, the enterprise and the data center edition isn't that much. So that was one of the reasons why, being on the local government pricing, that was one of the reasons why we decided to go for the data center and the future proofing of our environment, rather than being constricted to a number of virtual machines.
Were you 100% Windows Server Shop, or did you have Linux?
No, we were 100% Windows.
Right.
Yep.
That's why you didn't have the additional cost.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean that was the thing for me, as I mentioned, to go to the business and say, hey, I want a chunk of cash to buy some hardware, but I also need some more to run to have a virtualization licensing. It would have been a hard gig for me to get that over the line. So that was one of the contributing factors of no additional licensing costs.
And so why did you go for a SAN rather than, say, a NAS?
That was the hardware solution was designed in conjunction with IBM and a solution provider, and this is the solution that they came up with. Yeah.
Do you have the skills and capability in-house within your team to be able to do the upgrade, or did you outsource to a vendor?
No, yeah, good question. We outsourced a bit of the planning stage to a vendor, and they assisted with the hardware design and the software design and stuff like that. But primarily, the large chunk of the work was done in-house by myself and my team.
You got a recommendation on that vendor, mate?
Come and see me afterwards, and I'll certainly discuss that with you. But yeah, we didn't have any problems at all with the vendor that we engaged, and certainly done some future work with them. So yeah. Any other questions?
Go back a slide.
We certainly can.
Sorry, just one more question.
Yep.
How long did the project take?
Yeah, probably 6 or 7 months, I reckon. The planning stage was quite long. Once we got over the planning stage, the actual physical to virtual conversions was done quite quickly. The good thing for this was it was no impact on the business. We're able to do physical to virtual conversions overnight. We did SQL servers, Exchange servers, application servers, file and print servers, and people were able to come in the next day, bang, and it's, one night it was physical and the next night it was virtual. So no impact on the business was really good for us. Any other questions? Come on, I've got one more wine glass. Anybody? All right. You've already got a wine glass.
Yeah. This is probably a little bit technical, but
Yep.
with the 3650 M3s, dual processor,
Yep.
you're running memory in 3 DIMMs.
Yep.
And yet you're running 36 gig of memory.
Yeah, the memory configuration was recommended by IBM hardware solution provider, who they configured the hardware spec of the server.
You're running about 1000 hertz instead of 1333.
Yeah.
So I'm intrigued by that.
Yeah.
If you'd bought that at 48, you would have been perhaps operating faster servers.
Yeah, look, I'm going to argue with. I'm not, as I said, I'm not a hardware vendor, a hardware guru, but yeah, the solution was designed.
Perhaps that kept you at 36?
I guess we did the virtualisation assessment and worked out what our business needed, and that was something that I guess we decided that 36 gig was around the mark, and I guess it's we're not locked in on that. It's something that, but I guess yeah, it was cost can come into it. I guess at the end of the day.
Yeah, because with that configuration, you can also go down from 1333 down to 1,000, and then down to 800 once you
You're in the 800, I think, at 36.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Not on there.
and memory
Yeah, and look, you've given me something to some homework. Yeah, yeah.
Because we're running M3s.
Yeah.
Where we are, but we're using the 3550s
Yep.
because they're 1A.
Yep.
And I've hit that problem too.
Yeah.
I've got 48 gig of my service
Yep.
in 4 gig.
Right.
If I want to upgrade and want to retain memory speed performance, I've got to rip all them out.
Yeah.
Put bigger chips in. And if I'd known that when I purchased them, I would put out bigger chips in.
And there was a large discussion around the memory configuration, how it was going to be configured, because the M3's got a large number of memory slots and where it goes.
3650 certainly.
Yeah, so I mean that was certainly a great deal of discussion around that. But you've given me some homework, so I appreciate it.
Price cliff?
What was that? Sorry.
Price cliff. The next configuration.
Yeah, it was. I guess it wasn't really discussed. The configuration or the requirement of the server was pretty much decided upon from the virtualisation assessment. What we did the virtualisation. It said, hey, this is what we need. We needed 3 servers or 4 servers, and that sort of throughout all that it came out, hey, we need 4 servers configured like this, or other things were whether we go blade environment or go physical servers. So.
Yeah, we 4 blades.
Yeah, and because our organisation is not gonna grow, but
So you might only need 3 servers?
yeah, well that's the thing. Yeah, I'll just get you if you can fill out the evaluation forms online. You do have an opportunity to win a touch mouse. This mouse is the most grooviest mouse known to mankind. You seriously, if you don't win one, you have to buy one. They are amazing. They're really cool pieces of hardware. So. You know the thing about the Tech Quest, if you want to scan these funny looking things, and then the slides and also the presentations will be available in the coming days at the Schedule Builder site. So if you've got any more questions, you can come up and see me, but appreciate your time and have a good Tech Ed.